Welcome. Today we'll be reviewing the Laurentia Priorat from the Catalonia region of Spain. My name is David Hunter. I'm the Director of Content and Education with Teuton Selection. Priorat's one of the world's most prestigious wine-producing regions. It's one of two top-tier DOQ classifications in Spain. The other is Rioja. So you'll see here on the label, they have the DOQ designation on the bottom of the label here, DOQ Priorat. And also on the back of the label, you have the government certification. Let's talk a bit more about Priorat as a region. It's a very small and dynamic area within Catalonia, which is in the northeastern area of Spain. It's a relatively unpopulated and inhospitable region. The town where this wine is made only has about 350 inhabitants total, so very small region. Not so good for people, great for wine. It's a region that's risen relatively from being unheard of a few decades ago to one of the world's most expensive and collectible wines in the world over just really 20 or 30 year period of time, which is pretty remarkable. Let's talk about the Terroir of Priorat. The vines here are grown on poor, rocky slate soils, which is very rare in the world of wine. You see that in Germany, and really only a few other places on earth. So slate is the key here. It gives a real minerality and a vibrancy to these wines. The vines are planted on mountain slopes at about 1,200 feet above sea level. So pretty high altitude for Spain. They're grown on poor nutrient soils, which adds concentration to the final product of the grapes. Some areas are so steep that they need to use terraces. So they dig terraces into the sides of the hills so that the vines aren't blown off due to the wind or washed away due to erosion. This is an area of very, very low yields. It's also very hot and dry, even by Spanish standards. So a very harsh, arid condition here. The grapes are grown from vines that are anywhere between 60 to 70 plus years of age. This also adds to the concentration of the final fruit. Let's talk a bit more about the yield. Lower yields generally mean better quality in the final wine. The average production per vine here is less than 3 pounds, which is extremely low. The average vine produces anywhere from 15 to 20 or 30 pounds per vine. So here we're down to only 3 pounds or less. So many times you'll wind up with 1 bottle per vine, which is crazy. Most vines will produce 6 to 10 or more bottles of wine per vine. So that's really crazy low production. It also adds to the price points. It makes a more expensive wine to produce because your yield is so low. Let's get into the wine. So we'll look at the label here first. Laurentia. It's a beautiful label, very striking. And the back label as well talks about the grapes. We'll talk about Grenache and Carignan here in a moment. Let's go ahead and taste the wine. Very deep, dark, classic Priorat here. So tar, licorice, cherry, almost like a cherry liqueur. Very dark fruits. This is a powerful wine, very full-bodied. Dark fruits, blackberries, black cherries. You get a nice toasted kind of cocoa quality to it. Bit of raisin, but very well balanced. So even though you do have a lot of tannin, a lot of structure here, very well balanced, nice length. I'm still tasting the wine as I'm talking. So a great long finish. So this wine is made with 50% Grenache, and Grenache adds power, richness, depth of flavor to the wine. The other 50% is Carignan, the same as Carignan. And that adds tannin, so high tannins, acid, and a deep dark color to the wine. You can see how inky and purple this wine is. It's aged for 4 months in a blend of 60% French oak and 40% American oak. The label, Laurentia, means actually, it's the name of a small, pretty blue flower that originates in this region of Spain. So they decided to name this wine after that flower. And you'll see in the little logo up top here, it has a picture of the Laurentia flower here as well. And I'll put a picture of that for everybody to see. Some additional talking points on this wine. It's farmed and produced sustainably, so naturally as possible. It's also produced by a cooperative. So cooperative is a group, in this case, of local farmers, small families who are producing excellent, high-quality wine, in many cases for generations. This wine is approachable now, although it will benefit from a bit of decanting. I just opened it now and it's tasting fantastic right out of the bottle. But with an hour or so of decanting, you'll have more of that spice and more of that fruit flavor. It'll be a bit more expressive, but it's great right out of the bottle. Also, a nice point here is that it's age-worthy. So if your customers want to age some wine, build their cellars, you can definitely keep this for 6+ years, but it'll develop and improve annually. So it's fun to buy a case, taste the bottle every year, and see the evolution of the wine. But I've had this wine with some age on it, and it develops really nicely. It's also, as far as a selling point, a great alternative to California Cabernets, and particularly, I think, Napa Valley Cabernet. It has many of the same hallmark characteristics. Big, intense, full-bodied, good fruits, plush, nice tannin, good structure, good length, age-worthy. It has a lot of the same characteristics, and for me, personally, I feel like this has even better quality than most Napa Cabs at the same price point. So I think it's an excellent option for anybody looking for a great full-bodied wine, great with a steak, roasts, stew, pork chop, good on its own, after meal if you want to have a glass of wine, but an excellent all-around bottle of wine from the Priorat region of Spain. Very classic and traditional style. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is David Hunter once again. I'll leave my contact information up here for you. If you have any additional questions about this wine or any other wine that we sell, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for your time.